Doing it.
All right, I'm recording. I think we're good.
You got like a load of pool floats, and you're putting all your stuff on the pool floats, right?
No, I'll be honest. As soon as we actually, as soon as we actually get to kicking this thing off, I'm gonna dry off and run inside. Yeah,
Hmm.
I got the phone with Discord on the phone. Got the headset here, but as soon as we're gonna kick this thing off, I'm gonna run inside.
All right, I'm ready. I've got the recording going.
That's my cue.
Sweet. Hmm. Get the town.
All right, I guess should go pull up Ducati out of D&D Beyond.
All right. Try this. Oh, just making sure I'm sorted, and we are gonna get started.
Hello. Right. So
All
if it
right.
comes down, if it comes
Recording
down
on
to
my
it,
end.
we just throw Navi under the bus because he's not here.
Yep. And
What is a bus? A bus is where I put information.
we're gonna go sperm whale fishing with a unlive bait.
Again, I'm not sure Navi would make good bait.
But anyway, your party has journeyed south from the town of Tourmaline. En route, you discovered the supposed Yeti attacks were actually being perpetrated by that band that you ran into before when hunting Suffolk culture, the Torns. They had been hunting lone travelers on the road and small caravans, butchering them and leaving what few remains as ways to implicate the Yetis of Kelvin's cairn, while making a profit off of selling their meat to unscrupulous and desperate taverners. Ducati backed up, and his friends backed up with his old family, brutally put down these cannibal entrepreneurs and continued on their road to return home to Goodmead. Tired and just relieved to be out of that forest, that damned Bay Forest. They came to the town of Brinchander once again, where they could get lodging before continuing their journey. At the wall, they were challenged by a guard who asked their names and business. When they answered, there was a hesitation, but the guard opened the gate. The party then found themselves swiftly surrounded by the town guard. headed by Captain. Oh, wrong screen. Headed by Captain. What's his face? Captain Markham Southwell. Ooh. Posted there if you've forgotten his face. Who at Spear Point told you to walk with him. And as he explained, you are to be executed for the crimes of murder against a 10-town speaker and conspiracy. Unfortunately, you had just also sent away Snowy, who it seemed they would not possibly let in the town. And that is where you find yourselves. Bags thrown over your heads as you are shoved through the streets of Bryn Shander.
Oh, we got bags over our heads now as well.
Hey,
How exciting.
oh, I don't think I'm actually officially part of that group.
Yes, that's fine.
I mean, it kind of predates me.
Do you speak up?
What?
Do you speak up?
I will when spoken to, but I will kind of be like, hey guys, why are they doing this?
Well, we haven't killed anyone to our knowledge. Not any speakers.
Yeah, the ones we met were already dead.
Right. Well, we don't even know which speaker it is yet. So,
We would have made convenient scapegoats to take the fall for a crime that occurred during our absence.
that's true. Let's hear what they have to say and what evidence they have against us, I suppose, before we try to plead our case. Always good to know what we're working with.
And as you're trying to talk to each other and moving along the marching, you can't see much of the little squares through the sackcloths that have been put over your eyes. You can make out shapes of people splitting out of the way of the road as the guards march you down the North Gate Road towards the center of town. Markham shouts over seemingly to someone as you enter the town square. And you should be able to see the map right now, or do I need to put down a token for you?
No, I can see the map.
Wait, I see the map.
Yep.
Let me slow down and work out where you currently are.
I see a little green square.
As you come near the town hall, Markham turns and yells to someone, "Wake up, soldier! Get the ropes. They'll be needing their new neckties by dawn."
Bit hasty, don't you think?
Right, sir. Get 'em down there.
We deserve to know our accuser, and we wish to know who has the authority to give us this sentence.
Do we not get to plead our case?
Ace, what do you take us for? This is the frontier. This is Icewind Dale.
This is Bryn Shander, the one nugget of civilization that you 10-towners seem to be proud of. if this is the kind of justice that you've turned to, you're no different than those that you scorn outside your precious walls.
Might as well be Yeti.
I wonder if you were so lawful when you plotted behind the poor Hendrik Rylesbottom, poor Speaker Kendricks, who trusted you as sons. You paid a freaking Veerbig behind his back and stab him when he walked.
We did
None of these things.
no such thing. They,
Enough talk.
they did no such thing.
You'll have a moment before the speaker, if she deems to hear your case. Otherwise, I won't be hearing from you much in the future.
She is the new speaker.
Lady Duvessa Shane is the speaker of Bryn Shander, and you will speak her name with respect.
Do any of us recognize that name?
You would, just because she's the head of the 10 Towns Council and the speaker of Bryn Shander.
This is this. Okay, so this.
She's a young noble who seemingly chose to be here, rather than she wasn't just assigned to out of shame from some noble family. She actually preferred to be here, which is very strange.
Great.
Yeah, definitely something odd about that, right?
Okay, and then okay, so she is the same speaker as always was in Bryn Shander.
Yeah, she's the one that's
Right.
been speaker even.
Right.
You know that she's probably been speaker for the last 10 years. She came here very young. She was maybe 16 or so when she came here to take over speakership.
Okay, and then it was Speaker Kendrick.
Yeah, Speaker Kendricks.
Speaker Kendricks, and there was another name. There's something bottom.
That's his last name.
Okay, and that was
Rawls
from.
Bottom. That's Dugan's Hole. Not Dugan's Hole. That's Goodmead.
So
shit.
we've apparently killed the
Speaker
speaker of Goodmead. Where's
Speaker Kendricks is the one you're accused of killing.
Okay, so Sunflower's father.
Yes.
wait?
Sunflower's father was the speaker.
Wait, Sheriff. What of Sunflower and the residents of Goodmead?
They'll not be your concern. Now shut up. Get them down there. I've got to go inform the speaker.
I wouldn't be asking if they weren't.
Do
my
not
concern.
worry. Your justice here will be swift, and we don't partake in any excessive tortures.
As long as you follow your speaker's orders. Your
To the
speaker
letter.
is a reasonable woman. She will understand and she will listen to our case.
Indeed. Let's hope there is some form of justice.
So
So Navi tries to speak up. He goes, "Enough of this!" And you hear a sparking as something with blunt force. You hear something hard hit the back of her head.
That didn't even be like everyone else is talking. Stop it! And it hit Navi instead. See, if you carry on talking, that'll happen to you.
But yeah, you get the butt of a spear thrust into your ribs.
did they take our weapons?
Yes, they march you over.
Well, they didn't take my weapons.
Yeah, neither. Didn't take my weapon either.
Yeah, they march you over, and they don't. They begin taking off your entire outer cloaks, and you're standing there freezing. Those of you who don't have cold resistance, and they take your packs.
Nice.
And
Wait,
they
where's that
march you.
priest that I'm looking for as well? She's meant to be in Brinchanda, right?
She could be. Or
And if
so
she
you've been told.
come find me in the gallows.
But you're marched down a stone set of stairs. And one of the guards says, "What? Room on the right, throw stuff in there. Take him to the big room at the end."
This is probably the nicest accommodation we've had for the last 2 years.
What? Suddenly punches you right in the face through your mask. "You shut up, murderer. Ain't no one gonna bother with you."
Sorry, sir. I'll be quiet.
One of the
So-
guards says, "These are the ones who came as heroes.
So
Murdered Speaker
I'm just going to say you guys out loud. So just to be clear, before I met you guys, you didn't murder anyone, right?
No,
No.
Speaker Kendricks was like another father to me.
Yes, and sunflowers.
So they start, as they're taking off your clothes, they take off your hoods one by one, and they start off with Rom, and you see Sheriff Markham look at a list. "This one's the dwarf, Markham. Right, this one's the dwarf, Markham. He's on the list." Goes to the next one. Pulls off the sack and looks at Ducati. Kind of looks at the list. "Well, sir, this one's not on the list.
It's Skyrim.
He goes with the others." Somewhere down the cell, you hear, "My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperials." Same about
All right. So when
Hurry
he
up and finish this.
when he said he goes with the others, does he mean with the group or some other group?
Yeah, they can do. Markham looks at the list and kind of scrunches up his face. "Probably a co-conspirator. Good thing we caught up with him while we did. Wouldn't have known about him otherwise."
Oh, I see. I see how this evidence
Markham,
works.
look at him. He's a dragonborn. You don't think... You won't speak a word of it, especially not to speak a Trovis. If you
Ooh.
do, I'll dock your pay for 7 weeks.
As he's like near me, I will just let out the slightest dragon breath, just enough to chill him a bit, not to try to really do any damage.
So it's kind of drafty down here.
Yeah.
This is drafty. It's a jail. But yeah, they come around and they've pulled off all your hoods, and they shuffle you down a long hallway with barred doors on either side of you as you walk down this dank stone hallway. Little puddles are forming where in the low section you can see a rat or two scurry by. They finally come to a heavy oak door with a single barred window. They turn a lock and open it to low creak. Although it's dead dark inside, other than a few feet of light coming from the dying torches on the walls. And they begin to one by one march you to each wall.
So, as the guard...
And
Go ahead.
They begin to march you all to each wall and shackle your arms to the walls.
As the guard shack is working on putting Rom up there, Rom says to the guard, kind of under his breath, says, "Hey mate, what is this rumor of the Dragonborn? You can tell me. It's not important, but this is very interesting to me.
Put me a charisma check.
How about a persuasion?"
Yeah, that will be me a charisma check. So yeah, go ahead and roll the persuasion. You watch as the others get conked out as the guards, one by one, just like deck each of your comrades until they are unconscious. Yours just
Great.
kind of leans back and says, "Well, it ain't no much business of yours, but Speaker Trovis, Speaker of Kerkonik, is a Silver Dragonborn, you see. The family was lost up by Kelvin's camp some years ago. Never found him. But he still, even though he's Speaker, walks that mountain looking for some sign of him. Anyway, kind of looks over to your unconscious friends. Don't know why you did it. I just hope you did."
Unfortunately, we didn't. Kendrix was a friend of mine.
He has this disgusted look on his face. I'd prefer if he'd have been a stranger to you after I hear what happened. But it's not up to me to decide. But I ain't about to knock out a man who's chained and can't defend themselves. Could you slump down, please?
Of course, your kindness is appreciated. And Rom kind of he
He
says,
swiftly swings a fist, intercepting it with his own hand to make the sound of the contact. Right, he's down.
Rom
Starts to turn
collapses.
to go.
Yep, collapses. Fix it.
Oh. Hey, I'll do that. It's
And
like
you hear him
weird.
whisper. You hear him whisper. Name's Balin Deho.
Balin DeHo?
When you get to the whatever afterlife there still is for us, you can at least say I wasn't that rough with you.
I will do this, friend.
You watch as the door closes and all the light fades. Until there's nothing but a dim torchlight shining in through the single window in that oaken door. The bar splitting the beam of light. View to the map. Huh.
My God, it's a dragon.
A silver dragonborn.
Yeah, when's the dragon gonna come down and save us?
Ironically, I've not changed anything just for Ducati.
Does the speaker look like a Yeti? Just asking.
That'd be handy for you, wouldn't it?
So, so
Is
that's
that
the
log in the corner?
fifth.
No way.
As light comes back to your eyes hours later, your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness in here. You realize you are not alone.
By the way,
A,
is that
s- a slumped, green-skinned humanoid lays wedged between the western and northern wall. A rat seeming to climb up his leg and kind of stand on its hind legs and sniff at him. But he doesn't seem responsive.
I mean,
Kind of swat the rat away. Try to wake him.
yeah. Would we? I mean, would Joe? I mean, I imagine I would, wouldn't I? Is it bright enough for me to tell who it is?
You are all shackled on what seem to be chains that fasten around your wrist with a metal band. But they have long chains enough to allow you to walk about 5 feet in any direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If I can tell it's luck, I'm gonna go over to him and give him like a kick in the thigh. Not very hard. Just try and wake him up.
are you able to reach?
Well, he said we had 5 feet, right?
Yeah, you're shackled. Your shackles give you about 5 feet of movement.
Yeah,
outside.
and then I could effectively kick an extra foot or so to reach him, right?
Okay,
sure if
roll me
yeah.
roll me an unarmed attack.
Well, I'm not trying to actually hit him, right? That hard.
You can say non-lethal and just roll
Non-lethal.
strength. Or
Non-lethal.
Non-lethal and just add strength modifier.
Look at that then. How do I miss a stationary target?
It's dark.
You go to punch, but the chains tighten as your fist gets right near his face.
I was gonna kick it.
And a now very bearded lug hears the rattling chains and his head sort of lolls back and his eyes blink as he tries to look up at you. Is the darkness playing tricks on me?
Look, is that you?
Joseph, is that you?
Look,
And suddenly he punches right at your face.
Oh,
And I,
That's
the
right.
guy just sitting there going, every time the story just gets weirder and weirder.
look, what happened? What happened at Goodmead? What happened to Speaker Kendricks?
I mean, I'm gonna let the guy hit me right in the face.
He
I
naps
don't think I get a shot.
again. That's what he did the first time we met you.
What, did he crit? Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
The first time as we flash back.
That's funny.
What had happened was Josen had stepped into the mead hall at Goodmead. And he hears something like, "Hey stranger, let me get you a drink." "Here stranger, welcome to the hall." And he turns and it's like, "Oh yeah, sure." Suddenly just gets decked in the face by a nat 20
Yeah.
just because he looked tough.
Did I almost knock
And they
him out?
began a
Like,
fist
so-
fight just before a robbery began. They had to fight together to fend off the bandit.
Did you guys end on good terms?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of a running joke if they want to punch each other.
Yeah.
That's why he just tried to do it to cut his
Yeah.
chains. So yeah, he just, you thought he was like all worn down, but he just springs up and decks you full force as you take
Joseph-
10 bludgeoning.
Joseph just smiles with his he just smiles, and like blood running down his face, and he's just smiling at him like,
He just
"Oh, good to see you again,
the
mate."
How many
half-orc just claps his arms around you and slaps your back.
how many teeth
Hey,
does Josen actually have? So just you know.
I'm a doppelganger. I have as many teeth as I fucking want.
the half-orc just claps him in a big, wide-armed hug. But you can tell his arms are much smaller than they used to be, as he slaps you on the back. It really is you, Josen.
You bet.
Well,
For better or worse.
how'd you get down here?
I'm well. Apparently we murdered
Oh right. Yeah, I know.
Pico.
Thought you'd gone.
Yes.
So sunflower.
What happened to all of them? Sunflower, right?
The smile kind of fades from his face and slumps back against the wall. Well, Sunflower made the mistake of coming back home when she heard the news. Well, news came to her that Speaker Kendricks, her father, had been murdered. So she came rushing back from terminating. But, you know, my old boss.
So
I
what?
see. How did you
So
die?
where is Sunflower?
My old boss, Shandor Frost, he became the next speaker before Sunflower got back. He said he had evidence that she's the one who set up his murder. He said that she was trading with the very big in the mountains, them giants. That she's been sorry, I've got some issue with ice cream, but yeah, she was trading with some very big in the mountains and was giving them fancy books or something. It had her signature. They found it at the scene of the crime. I don't know much about it, but I don't think she did it. They was going to execute her next morning after she arrived. She was a wreck, you know. She didn't even fight. She was too upset about her father. Well, I couldn't let it go. So, I broke into the jail, good meeting, kidnapped her, brought her to Bryn Shander where she might get some real justice. Well, that's what I thought she'd get. For aiding a murderer, I got sentenced to 1 year in this here jail. On top of the time I'd already spent here. And Sunflower, she kind of tightens his jaws. Speaker Defessus Shane stayed her execution. Instead sent her to Revel's End. It might be a worse fate if she'd been hung.
What is the something? What is that represent?
any of you can roll me a history check, and Ron, you have advantage on it.
Baby. Jason, how are you so knowledgeable in the way you...
That'd be a nope.
Is it nope?
Ducati's like Admiral Stockton. Who am I and why am I here?
Yeah, the cat just lets out like a Yeti, like a Chewbacca question mode.
Don't make me laugh.
I suppose the right proper folk like you would know much about it. River's End is a prison up in the far north. The northernmost end of Icewind Dale. It's a terrible place. They sent us there for life. That won't be long. I took her here and pled her case. Devessa at first seemed like she wanted to help, but Speaker Shandar and the Speaker of Targos, the others that are in league with them, were really adamant that she be executed. So she sent her there instead. River's End is usually where you send your prisoners that are too politically connected to safely execute. You don't think Sunflower would have murdered anyone?
No,
Oh, of course she wouldn't.
I don't think she could.
I couldn't believe it either. That's why I defied Shandar.
But Shandor, he was the old guard captain, wasn't he?
He was my boss at the lumber mill. He's now the speaker of Goodmead. If you could still call it Goodmead anymore.
Kendrick and him were always at odds and butting heads, weren't they not?
That's right. They definitely didn't like each other, but Kendricks at least respected Shandar more than he deserved.
Alright, doesn't seem like it was the other way around.
No, not safe to say.
Seemed quite like it was him who did it. If I were to point fingers.
You never seen Sunflower speak giant, did you? That just sounds weird.
No. I couldn't imagine it happening either.
Everyone roll me a history check.
History, another one.
Uh,
Ducati, go!
just that normal.
Except for Ducati, because Ducati was not there.
Never mind.
Another 17 for history.
Had I been there, I would know
Suddenly,
this.
A scene comes to your memory of an icy, massive hallway, and a rampaging mammoth that you could not outrun.
Oh yes, you did. I remember now.
As Sunflower shouted something in the language of giants that helped calm the mammoth and saved your lives.
Yeah, I remember that. And I gave away my sword.
Right, see, there's no way.
No.
And she loved her books. Why would she ever give them to a giant? It would be like throwing pearls to swine.
It depends
No.
on the giant.
The giant was already...
So,
No, the giant wasn't dead.
so
The giant was
Ducati's like,
already dead,
so how does a giant fit into all this? I'm confused.
She did give the book.
The
Dead
giant
giant.
is a giant is what killed Speaker Kendricks. He and Speaker Kendricks and Shandar they were going south with some aid for Dugan's Hole after their whole issue you guys helped them with, and they were going to help bring supplies. But on the way back, both Kendricks and Shandor was attacked, had vicious spear wounds. Shandor's luckily didn't hit nothing vital, but Kendricks, he wasn't so lucky. Shandor came back with that book, said it dropped it. Sunflower and set them all up. That's what he said, and I don't believe a word of it.
How would he have time to pick up a book if he was running away?
He wasn't. Veerbig left him for dead. That also doesn't make much sense. Veerbig, I know, if they make a kill, would drag you off and eat you.
Like nothing more than a good meal.
Sounds
They-
like perhaps Shandar has some secrets that he is not sharing with everyone.
Goodme now is really close with Targos, which seems strange. We never liked them much. They like to push people around other towns.
He was always never a diplomat, was he?
Who was when we were
Probably
back
why
in
he
the,
wasn't speaker in the first place.
You recall that there was some attempts to depose the speaker of
good
Mm.
you know,
No, I remember.
Asthu was complaining that people from Targos were spreading dissent and trying to have him run out, and then eventually that had built up to the point where he had to step down before he was replaced.
Right, we had him kind of in a good place, and then we left, and then we.
Yeah, he was now happily just getting drunk and not having to worry about paperwork. Well, from what you gathered, Therok had taken over as the new speaker.
Varrock,
Your former companion.
right, who could potentially speak up on our behalf. So,
I mean, he was there.
Look, we need to do something about Sunflower, but before that, how is it that how are we implicated in this murder? If a giant was the one who killed Speaker Kendricks and attacked Shandar, assuming that Shandar actually was attacked by this giant, then and if Sunflower has been framed for this, whether or not she really was, how is it that we are the ones who are taking the fall for this? We are to be executed tomorrow.
They say that was Shandar's doing. He said all this happened after you lot came out, and you was close friends with Miss Sunflower.
Sunflower had many friends. How is it that is suddenly a crime?
Shandar
We were
didn't
helping the
like you.
people.
Shandar says he's outsiders.
We were helping the people of 10 towns. We sorted out plenty of stuff. We got rid of the wolves and
Right.
blocking
See,
the trade.
After the murder, Shandor proclaimed that both Sunflower and the Good Meat delegation, as they called it, was to be hung on sight if they could be captured in Good Meat. No trial. They'd just string you up on the spot. Probably wouldn't even tell you why.
Well, I'd like to see the evidence he had.
It doesn't sound like he needs any.
He ain't getting no trial other than what's in his head.
So how is it that Varrock is the speaker and not
Therok
being
is
cut?
the speaker of Tourmaline, and Tourmaline is a long way from Goodmead.
So is Varrock on the list to be executed too if he's ever caught?
Oh, they tried, but Shandar knows better than to say such against a speaker. He was masterful, though. Said that poor Therok was simply strung along as a simple Goliath. He did not understand the finer points of skullduggery, I think was the word.
Well, what do
About
you
then,
think?
you hear a rap. You hear a fist slam against the door. Hey, keep quiet in there. Trying to sleep. As the guard peeks in through the
Sorry if we're making noise and talking.
Hey, you don't have the keys out there, do you?
Sure do. And he jangles the keys in front of the window. What, you want to try and take him?
How far away is he?
He's outside the door over here.
That's interesting.
I could
I
I
can-
could water whip.
I
and,
can doppelganger. I can
and I can Misty Step.
I can
Oh.
polymorph out of these chains.
Yes. Shall we get the keys?
Are we doing this?
I-
well,
Well, it's either that or be, I don't know.
I feel like we can't take on the whole town of Rinshad, can we?
Not during the day.
It's fun as it would be. I think we'd get quickly stopped. And if we took the keys, I'm not sure how we're meant to.
I don't know. I can run faster than you guys, so I'm okay.
Right.
Let's see how this plays out a little bit. But
I mean,
here's
we
the
can.
thing.
We
I
can
mean-
probably escape from the nooses.
One of you could escape, but the guard could still be here.
As you
Doppelganger.
are puzzling to
Right,
yourself,
doppelganger.
the guard turns and begins to walk away. And
Oh yeah, I
you
could
see
just,
that your opportunity, at least this hour within checking, is now gone. As Balin Diho starts walking back towards his post.
I could put him to sleep actually. Right?
We could start speaking
Also,
different
you don't
languages.
have any-
Oh.
Remember, you don't have any of your focuses, so if you're using spells, you can't do anything like that.
Well, what I can do is we can get him to come in the room. If I polymorph out of my chains and then hide down here, right? And then he runs in to check to see where I've gone, knock his lights out, and then take his keys.
Are you guys whispering this while you're in the cells?
So what languages do we know? I know Draconic and Giant and Yeti. I guess I can add Yeti to my list now.
Probably best not to use giants.
I know. I was like, ooh.
I know Elvish and Dwarvish.
I happen to know Dwarvish, oddly enough. What do I got? Goliath and Regedjik, which is the barbarian tribe. Sylvan. Yep. There you
I could say it in Dwarvish to Ram. What does Dwarvish sound like? I feel like I've overused that.
You're gonna get some psychic damage on that.
Yeah. Doogie doogie hole. Doogie doogie hole. Alright, I'm done with that. We definitely could. But I'd like to see if we can. Oh, blimey. That might damage.
I don't know, Joseph. Do you want to keep singing?
I stopped, alright. I would like to see if there's a way we can actually persuade ourselves out of this rather than, becoming war criminals and not being able to go into any of the 10 towns.
As you're debating, you hear something of an argument, something echoing down the hallways, as if there's some sort of disturbance.
Oh,
And you can clearly make out the tones of Sheriff Markham's voice, clearly perturbed, and you hear a door slam. Followed by what sounds like a metal gate slamming after a number of heavy footsteps. Followed by silence.
oh, I'm rather hopeful for some company.
It sounded like the same gate that you had entered when they brought you down the stairs.
Right, so there's so many fucking gates. So we need so many fucking keys.
About
And
then,
none of us.
Lug just kind of like is sat back down, kind of contemplating. He has a little ring around his finger with a key that he just kind of like twiddles around, just like to pass the time.
But with a key.
What is it you've got there, Lug?
Oh, this? It's key to my shackles.
Really? Do you think it might fit our shackles?
Why do you have the key to your shackles, Lug?
Probably would. Well, she, Sunflower, when we was locked in together, she lifted the key off of the guard and told me to escape. I only agreed so she wouldn't fret about me. But no, I'm not gonna run. I came here of my own free will. I'm gonna serve my sentence. And I'm gonna hold her to word that she's innocent.
Yeah, but
Lug, that is
but
a
I-
very honorable statement.
that's pretty noble. But our sentence is a little more definitive.
It is.
Could we borrow that key for a moment? Lug?
Kind of frowns. I don't know I should.
Well, you see,
It
Lug,
hurts Sunflower.
Lug, we're not going to hurt Sunflower. We're going to try to rescue Sunflower. That will probably be the first thing we do, is go straight away to try to free Sunflower from her prison.
Roll me a persuasion check.
You got it. Come on, persuasion.
Hold on, I'm.
How about a 28?
God damn.
Sunflower.
Really? You would save Sunflower from Rival's End? It's
would-
like almost 100 miles through the snow and ice.
It's not quite
Um,
that far, but
you know,
yes, we're going to do that.
We went through 1,000 miles of Lonelywood Forest.
Felt like it.
I didn't know Lonelywood was that big, but
That is when you go in circles.
I know she's innocent, but I'm gonna stay even if you escape.
Of course, we'll give you the key back there, just in case you change your mind.
How much longer do you have of your sentence?
I still got a few months.
Yeah, probably safer to not endanger that.
Not sure what I'm gonna do afterward though. Can't return to good me. They won't hack me.
Out of interest, Lug, was there a funny kobold with Sunflower?
Yeah, there was. Funny you should mention that. She disappeared right around the time they said hang them. Just straight disappeared behind a snow Oh, pal. We didn't see her ever again.
Interesting. You I don't even know. Always quite the character, it seems.
Right. The thing I couldn't figure though was in the snow right where she vanished was a jar of mayonnaise. Who just carries around a jar of mayonnaise anyway?
Well, from what I heard, I find it hard to believe she'd leave a jar of mayonnaise. I also find it hard to believe that she'd leave sunflower.
Well, I don't know about that, but there's a lot of spears pointing in her direction.
True. I thought I had to ask.
But yeah, he goes ahead and flicks and tosses Rom the very high DC that he passed anyway, ridiculously high.
On the persuasion.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
So Rom catches the key and quickly uses it to, or at least attempts to use it to unlock his shackles.
What is the time?
The time is right around noon.
Oh, right, so it's
It's-
almost midnight.
Does the
Actually, wait, you left this. Yeah, it's right around noon.
And when did they say they were gonna?
Between noon and 1.
So we're just waiting for somebody to. We're not waiting overnight or anything. We're just now just waiting.
They said that you were going to be executed at next quote unquote dawn.
I mean,
Well,
do you want to? Well, I don't, because I mean, yeah, I like the idea of escaping, but I feel like what do we do if we save everyone? You know, we save Sunflower, and we've escaped.
we find the evidence.
If-
We need to find
Right.
the evidence. That's what we need to do. Because right here, we can make a choice. Tomorrow morning, we don't have any choice.
That's true. But if we escape, surely he will get rid of all the evidence.
We have word of our capture has surely not reached Goodmead at this point.
No, but he's here, isn't he not?
But he doesn't have to make it back.
But he was here for our. True. I thought he was here for our.
I mean, if we're going to be guilty of killing the Speaker of Goodmead, we should then just be guilty of killing the Speaker of Goodmead.
Is double jeopardy, huh?
In the Feywild,
does-
we call that a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Is that what that meant?
Ron,
Master
give
said
me a perception check.
Okay. Bad.
Yep, you don't notice anything.
Does the key work as Rom?
When you you're attempting to use it, right?
Yep.
You fiddle it in. It's kind of a tight fit, but eventually it clicks over and the shackle falls free from your wrist.
Okay. Rom will take the key back out and head over to Joseph.
You begin to hear much closer. You probably didn't notice, but you now hear footsteps again.
Oh,
Ram, quick, get back.
Rom kind of runs back and grabs the shackle.
I need a dexterity save.
Oh, Ram, don't fail this. No, I said we should have waited a little bit. Oh, okay. Alright.
You scramble and almost slip on a little patch of ice that was on the ground there from a frozen puddle. and manage to get back to your shackles against the wall as you see a shadow blot out the light coming in from the window again. Hey, yous all asleep? I've been hearing noises.
Yes, we're asleep.
None of you,
Yes.
none of you hearing that tap tap sound?
What tap tap sound?
God damn it! I've been telling him for days. I keep hearing a tap tap sound. He just sort of rants and turns and starts walking back the other way.
Wait, tap tap from where?
I start tapping on the wall.
That's not funny. It's not even a shame. You hear him called out.
Wait, what's the actual tap tap coming from?
He doesn't answer.
Okay, so now, uh, we are. So Rum says, does anyone hear a tap tap sound?
I don't think so.
Hey, oh God, what the heck was his name? Hey, Lug, have you heard any tap tapping?
He kind of scrunches his face and thinks. Tapping? I just thought it was some water drops. That's about all I heard. And God's been saying he's been hearing tap tap sounds now for the last couple weeks. Nobody believes him. It's probably all in his head.
So, Rom kind of squats down and puts his ear to the floor. Just, really scrunches his ear up against the floor.
Okay. Give me a perception at advantage.
Sweet.
Aha!
Ooh.
You listen long and quiet. You hold your breath. And right as your lungs begin to burn, you hear a little ting, ting, as if somebody took a couple of really rapid metal pick swings, and then stops.
So,
Rom,
I
what
don't
do you...
suppose I can bust out a little bit of stone cutting or any kind of racial.
You actually could. I'll say it's also something that's just intrinsically part of dwarves, just based on their origin and how they were created.
So, does this sound like? I mean, is there somebody excavating underneath us?
It sounds like a chisel is being used against, you think, the foundation of this place.
So right beneath
But
us.
it's somewhere to the south.
It seems like even the foundation of this place wants us to figure out a way to leave.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stone cutting going on. I'm not entirely sure how I know this, but it's to the south.
Also, is Navi awake?
You look over and now these eyes are solid blue with the Windows screen.
Every so
Screen
often. Every so often.
It says, please reinstall.
It says Windows Update 33%, and it's been on that for like the last couple hours. Please contact customer support.
What do we do with Navi?
Navi's apparently been
Time to
cursed
escape.
by the upgrade.
Lug kind of looks at you guys and says, "Has Lady Dovesha spoken with you yet?"
No.
Oh, she probably will soon. She said when she talked to me and Sunflower, she was really interested in hearing your side of the story since you all have been with her longer.
So, do you think she'll come down at some point before execution?
Lady Dovesha's never angry. She's a nice little lady.
The
Right.
the guards mentioned something about Silver Dragonborn and her.
Trovish? Wait, Trovish is... yeah, he's kind of like you. Actually, kind of like squints his eyes. You look a lot like Mr. Trovish, but you got different horns.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I know we all look the same.
It's also hard to recognize you because you're sober.
Because what? Sober.
Trovis is... Speaker Trovis and alcohol are never far separate.
Maybe we are related.
Yeah, yeah. See, you must be.
He's kind of not the most popular speaker right now, especially with his crazy spells. He claims there's a bunch of invisible dwarves running around stealing stuff. Says he's robbing all the towns blind and nobody will listen.
No, actually, we've seen that happen as well. In fact, in Goodmead, they robbed the church.
Wait, you're saying they took the crystal sword?
Yes, actually, they did.
And you saw him? How do you see an invisible dwarf?
We didn't see him. I have a weird knack for
the very words are contradictory.
Yes, I mean, yes, normally quite easy to see a dwarf.
But how does one see an invisible dwarf? Because if you see it, it's not invisible.
Yes, but can you see the wind? No, you can't. But you can see the effect of the wind.
Indeed.
Yes, but you can't say that you've seen the wind.
Well,
you say he's seen an invisible dwarf, and that don't make sense.
They're not actually invisible. I believe the term for them are Duergar.
Duergar?
Like
dark dwarves?
Yes.
They don't come near the surface. The sunlight hurts their... Oh.
I was about to say. Oh.
Maybe that don't make sense. Duergar.
Yeah. I believe that's what they were. I saw them when it was right before you punched me that day. We chased them out the church, but they'd already stolen the sword.
Yeah, we were wondering who took that sword. Nobody really cares much though, because not many worshippers at Tempest when there's no wars about. At least not recently.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I mean no offense, sir. I just mean to speak the facts.
I didn't know you work at Tempest,
Well, you know, with the followers of Tempest, everything's a war. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you
no
come
offense.
From the barbarian tribe, didn't you?
Like them barbarian tribes, they're feuding. Can't seem to decide leadership or something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, maybe we can seek refuge with them once we become criminal convicts.
About then, you hear that metal gate slam again.
Okay,
and you hear a chain of heavy footsteps heading in your direction.
Rum's back. Rum's back. You know, with his shackles.
And
you hear shouting, those ones there. 2, 3, 4. Yep, that should be enough. And you hear other doors opening and shouting, cursing. You also think you hear some goblin in the cursing, along with the salty common. And
the kobolds we sent let west.
you see the face of that guard appear once again in the door as the door opens and swings wide as he and Sheriff Southwell, or Sheriff Markham Southwell, step into the room. Though I do not understand why she would want to speak to scum as you. Sheriff, the Speaker, Duvessa Shane, has invited you to a private hearing, where she will judge whether to stay your execution or not. But I would not get your hopes up. She knows to stick to the letter of the law, just as I do.
You're right. But if the law ain't just, then I fear it isn't law at all.
That is the speak of a rebel, and only goes to further our case against you. Kind of says, leaning in towards you. I have no doubt that within the day you'll be swinging from that rope faster than if you hadn't met Lady Duvessa. I hope you are smart enough to keep that arrogant tongue well lashed to its moorings.
Do you actually hope this, or would it actually serve your purposes better if we let it wag?
You are of no consequence to me.
And yet, you seem to be so very much against us getting justice and being set free. We are innocent.
He frowns. You're far from innocent. I've heard the case against you.
And seen the evidence, no doubt.
Seen the book myself.
Ah, yes, a book. Clear evidence that we were the ones who perpetrated this.
Written in the hand of Sunflower herself.
Yes.
On the front page. Acknowledging the name of a giant as its recipient.
And?
Do we look like giants?
No one treats with a Virbig. They are enemies of 10 towns. Her very speaking to one is evidence of her betrayal.
It wasn't a
Think
verb.
that Speaker Kendricks treated her as if she was her firstborn, as if he was her firstborn daughter, and she pays a Virbig to stab him in the back. And
Did you see the receipts then? Did you see the gold that she paid him with?
These are just trifles and do not.
Mere details.
They get in the way of justice.
Or truth?
He gave that.
Nods to the guard. Undo the wall chains and shackle them together. We'll march them through town to the Speaker's home. Actually, no, she would be meeting with her guests. We'll take her to the Speaker meeting hall. And that same guard that had not knocked you out previous day comes up and undoes your chains from the wall and begins to walk over towards Josen. Right. You best watch your manners around Our Lady Duvessa Shane. She's good-hearted, but she won't stand for the ruffians. Or
She
those
will
with
have
poor
no
manners.
ruffians. I'm much better trained than the other two. I can assure you that. One was raised by, well, I don't even know, and the other was raised by barbarians, so...
I'm worried that the lady is... She must be troubled if she is willing to send Sunflower to to a guaranteed death in that hellhole, then she can't possibly be listening to reason at this point.
Balin stops after he's undone Ducati and Josen, and looks down at Navi. Sheriff, this one's a little strange. I don't think she's going to be standing up. What's with her eyes?
Yeah,
Sheriff
she's an
says,
interesting one.
if she can't come to speak to Lady Devessa, march her to the gallows as soon as you can. We'll take this lot now.
So our friend cannot even get a fair trial around here. That is what you call justice, Sheriff?
Lady Devessa will hide your fates. Hopefully, for your friend's sake, she decides quickly.
This is not justice, and you know this. This is not the law. You're making things up. Is this who
Law?
you've become?
I am the law.
Yes, is this what you've become? This is what you've become, Sheriff? You look like you were once an honorable man.
And I have grown tired of dealing with dishonorable backstabbers like you. We should treat you like bugs and squash you underfoot without any second thought. But Lady Devessa holds just to outdated philosophies that I can say will only bring her heartache.
And someday, Bryn Shander will be the proud town once again with a new sheriff when we are done with you.
Can we be proud when we sacrifice our own people to the Frost Maiden's anger every month? He kind of shouts under his breath as he turns and walks away.
A good point.
Balin kind of like shrugs and looks helpless. Looks over at Rom. He wasn't always like this, you know.
Of course he wasn't.
His wife was one of the second ones chosen.
Hey,
not a nice end or way to go.
I'm sorry to hear that. I don't suppose who is the lady meeting with? Who are her guests?
He shrugs. Well, I'm just a god, sir. I don't know much about the functions of Lady Devessa, but if they're guests, there could be other speakers. Well, I didn't hear. Anyway, you come along now, he says, leading your chains as you're all on one linked long chain.
Rom kind of looks back at Lug as we're let out. Rom says, "Hang in there, old friend."
Hopefully, you don't hang yourselves.
Yeah, we definitely won't be hanging ourselves.
Would be ironic, wouldn't it?
By the way, does this lock?
Also, at this, we are. Let's see. So yeah, you are still on the same shackles. It's just that the chains that were anchored to the walls have now been linked together onto one central chain that this guard is pulling.
So, should we...
We are following.
You do still have the key.
The key. Yeah, I was going to say, should we undo the shackles a little bit?
So you can choose to either unshackle yourselves now or follow to whatever this is.
I mean, yeah, I don't need a key to unshackle myself, right? But I'll wait it out.
So, right. So Rom's focus, by the way, that he does not have. Trying to figure out what that would be, I guess.
What is a ranger's focus? Or do they even have a focus?
No, I don't know if they do. I mean, maybe it's their bow, right? Let me look. Hold on.
That is an interesting question I've never
Yeah.
considered because I've never played a ranger.
Spellcasting, fighting style, spellcasting.
Yeah, this entire session has been one thing that would never have happened if you hadn't gone into the past.
If we hadn't what?
We hadn't gone into the
And it
past.
hadn't into the future.
I think you use a. It says optional feature, but yeah, I don't think you do need a spellcasting focus.
Like, if you don't have a spellcasting focus, that means you actually need ingredients from a spell pouch.
Right.
I mean,
It said it works. It said it works much the same way as a druid spellcasting. So maybe it's the same sort of spellcasting focus as a druid.
Just need a piece of grass or something, or
Yeah, because it said as an optional feature, it says you can use
Like a
druidic
stick
focus
of
as a
ash or
spellcasting.
twig of mistletoe for druids.
Yeah, as a spellcasting focus, a druid focus might be a sprig of mistletoe, a holly,
Or a rabbit.
A
It
wand
could be a
or
rabbit's
rod.
foot in a ranger's case.
Yeah.
there you go.
Lucky rabbit's foot.
A rabbit's foot on a leather cord around his neck, maybe?
Is it an owlbear's foot?
No, it's not an owlbear's foot.
an arrow
What
tip.
do you think I am, Flava Flav?
I can't even remember what my spellcasting focus was. I think it's my gauntlets, right? I think it's my gauntlets. That makes sense.
It's your holy symbol.
Oh yeah, and my holy symbol. But my holy symbol is around my gauntlet. So yeah, it's my gauntlet. It's the red the red rope is my holy symbol.
My spellcasting focus are my guns. Boom, boom.
So they lead you down the hallway with your rattling chains. As you notice, the hallway is quieter than it was before.
What happened to our jailmates over here?
Sheriff Southall kind of smiles. They've gone to provide entertainment. Don't worry, you'll be in on the show. Speaker Devessa has arranged some things, it seems. At that, they lead you around the corner towards the stairway, and they stop as they open up the storeroom and pull out your coats. Now go ahead, put these on. Don't want you to freeze to death before you speak to my lady. She would rather look down on my failure.
She will.
Thank you.
Surely will allow me to grab the symbol of my faith.
Though, know that if it was up to me, I wouldn't let you have these coats, and I'd drag you by the ankles through the streets till you are frozen solid.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm still cold resistant, am I? Just a check.
What's that?
I still have cold resistance, right?
You aren't feeling too cold despite the coat being gone.
Alright, I'll smile and give him back the coat. As you wish.
So can we say it's a rabbit's foot, and would Rom be able to snatch
Sure.
that up?
Yep. It's only about a year in. We're now deciding what the focus is, but great.
Just in time flavoring.
So
But
Ducati, do you all join me? You're cold resistance, aren't you? Be a badass and don't wear a coat.
I don't need a coat.
We gotta show off our guns as we walk down the street.
That's right.
as the heavy iron gate creaks open. You can see that the snow is whipping outside to where it's almost blinding.
Ah, feels great. Just like home.
Refreshing.
They begin to march you out into the snow, and the gate closes with a loud clang behind you as you walk through these slippery streets of loose cobblestone and mud, heading down the road to the southwest, to the far southwestern end of Brinchander.
When when no one's looking, when none of the guards are looking, Joe's gonna grow himself a nice bushy beard, using his polymorph ability.
Go ahead and give that away too.
Thankfully,
No,
the
when no one's
snow.
looking. Exactly.
You're
the
walking
snow.
through the middle of the city, and luckily the snow is blowing heavily, and it is quickly caught in your new glorious beard.
I
You have,
I look at
you have
Josen.
like you have a big, beautiful black blue beard with curled mustache ends at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look at Josen and go, God, something's different. I can't quite put my finger on it. As I roll 9 insight.
Dallin looks back and goes, "Oh, what? Wait a minute, did he have a beard?"
This guy shaves like crazy. He's part dwarf, I think.
Obviously, it suits me so well, no one ever notices it.
Kind of squints at you. Give me a deception roll.
Imagine this is how I fucking die. Oh, God. Oh, thank God.
You don't say. They begin to walk. As looming up through the snow, as you approach the walls of this castle city, you see a 2-story mansion-like structure of stone. Its lights dimly lighting the snow outside. You see Sheriff Markham stop and gesture to Dallin, and Dallin begins to take a key and unshackle you each. Though it goes against what I suggested, Lady Dovessa has insisted that you show up unchained to her residence.
Sounds as though you're not the law. Sounds as though the lady is the law.
Of course.
At least,
I am her chief advisor. It is up to her to take my advice seriously. And I can tell you I did not agree with this.
at least
If
somebody
betray
understands the law.
lady's trust, I will take it out of you personally.
Oh, it's going to be personal when I take it out of you.
He grins. Unfortunately, threatening a public official does not add any further to your current sentence.
I'll be careful there, Rap. Let's save that till after we've
It would
proven
be a
ourselves.
shame if you didn't make it all the way here alive.
Indeed,
Rom
it
shuts
would.
up.
But I fear you're a man of more honor than that to kill a man who chuckled.
Unfortunately, yes. He snorts and opens the door, and that's where we're going to bring this one to a short close as you hear a voice call from a candlelit room ahead of you. Sheriff Markham, bid them in, and quickly, it's cold. We have much to discuss. As you see a young woman in her early 20s with long brown hair.
She's been the speaker for 10 years.
She was a child when she came here as
It's like the last emperor.
Gotcha.
How old
okay.
is she now? By look?
she's somewhere in her mid 20s. Mid to late 20s at this moment.
Ram, you've got this. You're the lady killer. Get her.
Just that. For any guards listening, that's just figurative speech. There's no actual killing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite bad if we said it out
Yeah,
loud.
that is where we're breaking for right now.
Okay. So wait, we're
Right.
breaking it, or are we? So
Um,
that.
Would you rather this be the break so that Navi can at least listen in on the rest or show up on the rest?
You know, I'm fine with that because I'm actually tired.
Yeah, because I know it's a short session, but I already warned earlier that this was going to be a mini session.
Yeah, that suits
I
me
was-
fine. I mean,
I
it's a
was-
bummer, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I was thinking of carrying Navi. He can't be hung though anyway, can she?
They can figure
Give
it
me-
They can figure something out.
I reckon
Damn.
if they put the rope on her, she'd break the rope.
Wait, that was like less than an hour? No, that was an hour, close to 2 hours.
That's
Yeah.
good. It's good for a.
No, that was. Oh yeah, yeah.
For
Yeah,
a
it was almost
mini
2 hours.
session. I felt like
Yeah.
that was the proper spot to end it at.
It was
rather
good.
than
I
going
there was
Yeah.
a lot of like back and forth, like trying to decide what to do.
Do you have any idea how many branching paths I made for that encounter?
Hey, quick! What's what's
We could have escaped.
An escape.
I
Yeah, it was
had
like-
I had like 4 different methods of escape. Like not just ambush like planned out. And they have
Hey.
wildly different consequences.
and yet we managed to stay on the rails.
This entire session I had to write by hand. Since this is
Yeah.
this is a ripple of the time travel debacle.
This is what happens when the stinking butterflies flap their little wings.
This gets us back on the freaking path.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No, that's I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
that
reason why
picture. of
We
the
could go back to
castle
the
with
Lonelywood
snow,
and try to mess it up again.
That picture of the little castle house with the snow that it's on. That's an AI picture also.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
yeah, why don't we just become, you know, instead of doing all this shit, we all become hags and go live in Lonelywood. Fuck it. Might as
I
well.
mean, I mean, you know, we could go get what's her name and
Instead of being good guys, we can be the bad
And
guys.
now
and
we can beat into Navi's skull. Look what we got done in like 1.5 hours. You're not. It's like if you aren't making room for an hour and a half in your study time, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, you know
no,
what? I get it. I swear to God, the homework that you have to do multiplies with age.
Yeah, true.
Like, if I was to go back and try, you know, say, yeah, fuck it, I'll just go get another degree for funsies.
I think the most valuable thing to do before you go to college, take speed reading lessons. For the love of God, it will save you so much effort.
Oh, find. I mean, there's got to be a tool out there that will just translate textbooks to speech.
Yeah,
Like, very quick.
audiobook will be audiobooks make everything easier. But it is an absolute scam, the price of
Yeah.
the college books. It's like where on earth would you buy a $600 book if it wasn't at college?
It's all
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, but
Yeah, unless it was medical text or something, you know.
this is all about
Pirate
those
Bay, all
college.
of that shit.
This is all about those professors, basically supplementing their shitty paychecks.
Yeah, I
While
didn't
the
buy any
college,
books my
while the
first year.
college, while the college CEOs make ridiculous amounts of money.
Yes, they do.
I got all the books online for free. Pretty handy. And then everything else was written up as notes for me. I didn't have too much on my plate for my first year. I was pretty chill. I managed to get most of my work done pretty easily. And yeah,
I
although I
actually
didn't
heard
miss,
that like writing a book is one of the best ways to make long-term, pretty much retirement money.
If you can
Just
sell it.
because, yeah, if it's a decent book that sells, it makes you money for the rest of your life, pretty much.
I mean, at least nowadays you don't have to, you don't have to convince like Random House or whichever publisher to read your book. You know, at least you can pretty much.
I have a friend that published a pretty large novel.
And it's just
The
a matter
Rosemary series.
Right on. The Rosemary series.
man, I've never gotten through so many books. And then Midia convinced me to listen to The Legend of Drizzt, and I got through like 3.5 books in less than a week.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I've had like an idea to like write a book for like a long time, but never gotten around to actually doing it.
Yeah.
So this is sort of D&D DMing is sort of like my creative outlet.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's kind of the way that I feel. Like the little problems that you solve when you're writing, it's like, aha, I can create a story, but putting it down on paper and being eloquent and
One thing I do like about this module that I've gotten like from other people on the DMs Guild, without giving spoilers, one thing people really like that's strange about this one compared to a lot of other official D&D modules is that it's a lot more of, hey, here are some villains, here are ways they could tie together, but you might want to try this and this instead. And it kind of like gives you like this modular almost setup where here's the recommended standard story, but it's probably better if you choose like one of these over the other.
Oh wow.
So it's really more like a first homebrew attempt kit. It's kind of like a guided way to homebrew.
That's so when we're someday when we're done with this, I'm actually looking forward to going and reading all this stuff. Like I have not read any of this stuff. Obviously, I haven't gone to DM's Guild.
After you run this start to back, you're gonna be like, when did we run any of this?
I'm sure. But like, so I hopped on DM's Guild to look at and see what they had for Dungeon of Mad Mage, and I mean, some of the stuff I'm like, okay, I mean, there's some clever ideas here and there, but man, like this one that I just downloaded, it's like, what? No,
I've enjoyed Skullport because it's been the pleasant surprise. I thought that everything was just going to be walking through a dungeon. Oh, here's an unrelated trap next to another unrelated trap.
Oh yeah, well that you can thank me for that.
Yeah, that's a lot better than just walk into a room with unrelated general D&D monsters.
You know what? And actually, I think they did a really good job with the levels. Like, each level actually has its own little mini plot. There are definitely, some little BS things like, what does this have to do with anything? I mean, sure, okay, yeah, you're in a creepy cave, and guess what? Creepy caves have creepy cave monsters, so that makes sense. But there's
trying to figure out how it works that we're like almost level 10. We're only at like level 3 of the dungeon.
I swear to God, you guys are going to go down to level 4 and 5 and 6, and there's going to be a little sign that says under construction, and then you guys are just going to be at level 7.
Just to go past it.
because I keep trying to like come up with stuff to keep you guys busy. and make it not like, it's either that or I just nerf the shit out of it, and it's like, oh yeah, there's like a goblin, and it's trying to kill you, and you guys get like 25 XP, and then, for like 4 months, 4 months straight, you guys total 1,000 XP.
Yeah,
To
I'm
try
not
to,
sure. I'm not sure if you've noticed how I structure combats, but I almost never do a straight. Okay, you're fighting this monster. There's something else going on, like like getting stuck in a pit as the gnolls come at you, or getting caught in a blizzard. Well, like you can't help your friend, or getting caught on the ground in the middle of your sleep by winter wolves.
it's
It's always a situation plus an enemy.
yeah, just wait. All I can say, just wait.
Just, it's always better to build your combats with more than just hit points versus hit points.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, absolutely. It has not been that way so far, just because of the way that it was kind of structured. Um, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the next session. Is all I can say. I wish. Unfortunately, because of travel, I'm going to wind up, having to postpone the next session. But I am looking forward to you guys getting into the tower and working your way up. That should be fun.
But I swear on my life, that whole running up the tower and pile driving a bugbear is totally legit, 100% within the rules. I did no chicanery. I actually could have run an extra 10 feet.
So okay, so yeah, let's discuss this for a second. So you had grappled him, right?
Yes, I grappled him, and it wasn't a climb like with my claws. What I was doing was running up the wall using my monk feature that came on at level 9, which allows me to run across the surface of liquids and vertical walls.
Okay, but that sort of assumes that that you're using that you are your normal weight, but now you're carrying a freaking bugbear.
Yep, that's why my speed was reduced by half.
Again,
When you grapple, your speed is reduced by half.
again,
I am
though,
about 6'7", and I have a strength of 12.
sure, but you're also running up, which
Using
is
a key
essentially,
point, which is a step of the wind.
yeah. I'm not gonna argue, because I think it's fine, and it was also incredibly rule of cool.
Also, how is it? It can't be considered overpowered when you consider how situational it is. And
Oh, I know.
you're talking about 35 damage to a single target. Well, Ari does that to an entire map.
Oh yeah. Well, and exactly. So,
Hey,
no,
hey,
I'm not
hey guys,
going to
I'm
argue with it.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Hey,
I'll
take
see you,
care as
Mad
well.
Up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I-
not. It's
I
not
feel
like a
bad
strength.
for.
It's not like a. You need to think of it not as a strength thing of him running up the walls. It's sort of a